Well, we've worked out a formula for signing high-ticket dropshipping suppliers in the UK, and the way to make sure that they will dropship for you is simply say,
I think a lot of people think about getting dropshipping suppliers is all about signing up to AliExpress or Temu and sites like that. But the huge mistake that so many people make is that
and just by doing that one thing, you could sign your dream supplier today, which could then lead to a consistent online income stream for years to come.
and when someone hears a supplier say no to them, 99% of the time, it's simply because they didn't follow the first.
But getting a no from a supplier is actually a real gift, because then you can Welcome to the Dropship Unlocked podcast. I'm Lewis Smith, the founder of Dropship Unlocked, and with me is our client success coach, James Eardley. Now, when we're not recording podcast episodes or running our own e-commerce businesses, you'll find us helping aspiring entrepreneurs launch their own high-ticket dropshipping stores. So if you're ready to build your own 6 or even 7-figure online business, then head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start. Now, sit back, relax, and let's unlock your potential with the Dropship Unlocked podcast.
So today's episode is an exciting one for you. Slightly different because we're going to take you through the step-by-step process of signing high-ticket UK suppliers. But the twist in this is that we're actually going to do some role-playing between Lewis and I to show you how a supplier phone call will go and how you can overcome some of the common objections. Now, there's definitely an art to role-playing conversations, and we're not going to recreate a scene from The Office, are we, Lewis?
No, but you have got to get their attention when it comes to suppliers, to quote the man himself from The Office.
Yeah, spot on, spot on. So a few niche references I'm sure we'll pull into today's episode. So for those of you that got that, congrats. I'm sure you'll enjoy the rest of this role-playing episode. So why do you think signing suppliers, Lewis? First of all, before we go into the role-playing, why is it so important for a business like ours, and what things do we need to consider before we can actually even get on the phone to a supplier?
Yeah, signing suppliers is a really key part of building a successful dropshipping business. Obviously, the products that you sell rely on you signing the right suppliers, and especially when it comes to high ticket items, getting the right suppliers on board can be crucial to the success of your future business. So once you have your niche chosen and you've been through the niche validation process to make sure that your niche is solid and that the products that you want to sell are validated already, and you should know which brands that you're going to be contacting, because we find and work with brands directly who we know are already open to the concept of dropshipping. That's part of the validation process, because without doing that, it becomes a bit of an unknown territory going in and to some unknown market where you haven't validated the niche, and asking if suppliers will dropship and not really knowing what's going to happen. I'd rather control the controllables and go into a market knowing that it's already set up. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's there. It's a market that's friendly to dropshipping retailers, and it just makes the whole process a lot smoother. So a few fundamental things I'd have in place. Obviously, niche chosen. I'd have my business set up properly so that when I speak to suppliers, if they're asking me about company details and things like that, I want them to know that they're dealing with a professional. So making sure I've got my registration numbers, professional email address. I'm not giving them like a Hotmail or a Gmail address or something. And also a business phone number as well. If they ask for my company number, I can give them an actual company number rather than just a mobile number. And yeah, I think if you can have your website functioning, we call it a minimum viable store. So functioning to the standard that if a supplier was on the phone with you and they said, what was your URL, your website again? And they could just search for it right there and have a quick look. It looks good enough for them to not have any big red flags and say, no, we can't work with you. But it doesn't have to be so polished and perfect and, launched that it takes you months to get there, and therefore you never contact suppliers because you never feel ready. So a well done MVS shows that you're serious, and it gives you credibility when you contact them, but it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. I think a lot of people get hung up on that part.
Definitely. Yeah, it's easy to get carried away with having this all singing, all dancing store before you've even signed any suppliers. But the key, as you say, Lewis, is to have that in place so when suppliers ask, you've got a store to show them, you're already showing signs that you're a serious business because you've got the website set up, you've got your company registered, and you're much more likely to get signed with them. So yeah, crucial things we had to talk about first before we do any role playing about how to sign suppliers, because if you just try and start reaching out to suppliers and you don't have those fundamentals in place, then you're not going to have very solid foundations. So you've got quick, immediate answers to suppliers when you're on the phone to them. So now that we've got to a point where we've got these foundations in place, it's clear that we're not just going to Google and we're not just searching UK dropshipping suppliers. We've done real research to get to this point. Now that we are going to be reaching out to suppliers, what are some of the objections that come to your mind that we might hear on the phone? Perhaps what's the first one that comes to your mind of an objection, kind of theme of an objection that we want to overcome today?
Yeah, firstly, quite a common one might be reluctance to deal with a new business. So if for whatever reason they find out that you're a new business, suppliers sometimes might say that they only work with established businesses. So the key to that one is to demonstrate that dropshipping minimizes their risk and that you're investing in ads to promote their products, and also that they don't have to actually take any risk. We're not asking for a credit line or anything like that. We can pay for all orders up front. So yeah, maybe we should role play this one, and happy to be the supplier and you can be the retailer if you like.
Okay, yeah, put me on the spot. Let's do this. And it's a really good one, I think, because everyone getting started is going to have to overcome that objection that may be there, may not be there, about being a new business owner. So like you say, I like the way that you suggested there. I'm going to incorporate that into the phone call, because if we can just hammer home the reasons why they should work with us, regardless of how old the business is, then that should get them over the hang up about the business age. So I shall call you now, and I will, and then you'll present that objection after I've started to speak to you. So dial the number, and as soon as you answer the phone, I'm going to say, "Hello, James here from Prime Outdoor Cooks is my store. Please can I speak to the best person to open a new retailer account?"
Oh yeah, my phone's ringing. Hello, Mr. Supplier speaking. How can I help?
"Hello, my name is James. I'm calling from Prime Outdoor Cooks. Please can I speak to the best person to open a new retailer account?"
Oh, hi, James. Yeah, well, that would be me actually. I'm the director here. And where did you say you were calling from again? Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Amazing. Hi, Lewis. Great to be speaking with you. So my name is James, and I'm calling from Prime Outdoor Cooks.
I've not heard of you guys. Are you new to the market? Whereabouts are you based?
Yeah, so we're based out of Shrewsbury in Shropshire, but we're relatively new to the market, so that might be why you haven't heard of us so far. But we are very fast growing and keen to work with some really good suppliers and brands inside the industry, and that's why we've located your brand as the one that we are really keen to start working with.
Okay. So you've just started out, have you?
We're currently going through the launch phase. Yes, we haven't yet been open to the market, but we've been doing several months of customer research, working out that there's demand in this market. And that's led us to your brand to understand that you are one of the best in the market, and we really want to work with you and your products.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, typically, just to be fully transparent with you, we don't work with new retailers that have just set up, purely from a risk perspective. But I mean, I think the best thing to do would be, once you're up and running and you guys are making sales and everything's going, maybe give us a call back and we can have a talk about things then.
Okay, interesting. I understand that might be a policy you've got in place for various reasons. However, I don't want us to miss out on an opportunity here. The reason I say that is because I know that we operate in a way that can really help to generate significantly more sales for your business. We operate UK wide, so we can sell across the nation. And we're also open to paying for all orders upfront before they're even delivered. So that means that it really minimizes the risk, and we're open and willing to significantly invest in the advertising of your brand. So does that sound like an opportunity that you'd be keen to explore?
So you wouldn't need a credit facility at all then?
That's right. We'll send you the order details. You can just send us the invoice. We'll make payment for that order, and then you deliver it straight out to the customer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds more like something that could work. Yeah, potentially. I mean, so you send us the cash up front, so I guess we don't have to take any risk on that side of things. And then what you're saying, you'll just manage all of the customer the service and interactions with the customer back and forth, and we'll just send out the orders?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So the way that we work is that we invest all of our capital as a business into advertising your products and then looking after your brand's reputation by delivering great customer service. And that's what we're all about. That's the business model that we've set up. And so we really want to minimize the risk that you've got in this partnership. So all you need to say is yes today. And that means we can start advertising your products. We can start looking after the customers that sell products from your brand.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You've got my attention.
Perfect. So that's a tick in the box for overcoming objection one. And I think we did a good job there of actually overcoming the objections that you were bringing to me. And you weren't too hard on me.
Yeah. Could have been harder, I guess. But no, I think that was good. The usual thing is firstly making sure you're speaking to the actual decision maker, like you did there. It could have been that I was just a gatekeeper that was like, nope, sorry, computer says no. It's a 12-month minimum business history policy. Like I can't. It's just a checkbox exercise. So you have to kind of get past that stage of like, okay, well, I get that it's the policy, but let's just now talk about like how this can actually be a win-win, regardless of policies. Because you might want to, amend that policy if we can make you a lot of money in the meantime. And then, yeah, I think you just dismantled that whole kind of thing in the supplier's mind about the risk of having to like underwrite a huge line of credit and give you thousands of orders out on credit, on the potential risk that you then could just disappear as a business because you haven't got much of a track record yet. You paying in cash ahead of time just dissolves that risk completely, doesn't it?
Exactly. I was really trying to emphasize all the positive reasons as to why you would work with a new dropshipping retailer, because of the fact that we're going to invest into their brand by running ads to their brand, which is something that's a huge plus that we'll do for them, and making it clear that the brand reputation and customer service was a real key for what we want to sell. Because I can kind of read a supplier's mind after speaking with so many. We know that that's what they're thinking about when a new person gets in touch. Is this going to actually generate sales? And is this going to hamper our brand reputation? So you can get it across to them, like I did try my best there, that we're offering a great service and running ads to their brand, and we're going to be looking after their customers. Hopefully did a good enough job to get you over the line there, Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to flip role reversal and we'll have a go the other way around?
Let's do it.
So what's our second objection?
Okay, so this time we're going to go for another one that you might hear when you reach out to suppliers. And that is that they don't have any experience, or they're a bit reluctant to working with online only resellers. So for example, suppliers might say that they've tried in the past working with online resellers, but they didn't have a good experience. So they're not interested now. Or they might say that they've actually had issues with people listing incorrect details. So they're actually managing things differently now than they did in the past. So if we hear this one, let's role play this one. This time you can be the retailer reaching out to me as a supplier.
Okay, let's do it. Ring, 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 ring.
Fantastic. Okay, phone's ringing. Let's see who wants my attention as an important supplier. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Important Supplier. It's Lewis here. I'm calling from Prime Outdoor Cooks. I just wondered who the best person to speak to would be about opening up a new retail account with you guys.
Yeah. Hi, Lewis. Great to hear from you. Yeah. So actually, my name is James, and I would be the best person to speak to about opening up a potential new retailer account. Just let me know again, where was it you're calling from today?
Yeah, I'm calling from Prime Outdoor Cooks. We're based in London, and we've identified your brand along with a couple of others, but actually yours is the one that's particularly stand out to me at the moment. Is one that I think would really align with what our customers are going to be looking for. We're looking to be market leaders down the line in the barbecue and outdoor cooking space, and you guys are definitely the brand that we want to partner with. So I'd love to start selling your products. We've got a lot of experience in the world of sales and retail. However, this is us just entering into the barbecue market, so you're really getting in at ground zero with us by starting out now.
Fantastic. Okay, sounds like a potential opportunity, but just have to ask, are you an online only retailer?
Yeah, so currently we are. We do that for a few different reasons at the moment. We plan to, down the line, look at potentially taking stock and opening up facilities. But for the time being, to keep overheads low and make sure that we can invest in marketing your products and making sure that we allocate the money that we would spend on having staff and a retail store and having a huge warehouse, we can allocate those funds to marketing your product, running ads, and getting more sales for you. So for the time being, just to keep our risks low, because obviously we're a small business, we don't have millions of pounds in capital at our disposal, we'll want to test the products, test the market. And once we do start to see some of those fast moving items, we may look to take some more stock down the line. But to start with, we tend to just operate on a direct dispatch arrangement. Is that something you've had experience with before?
Interesting. Yeah, it is. So I understand why you would be open to working in that way and starting out by not taking stock. Makes a lot of sense. However, gotta say, Lewis, we have had a few bad experiences in the past with online only retailers. So we're not actually open to working with new ones right now.
Oh, interesting. May I ask what happened?
Sure. Yeah. So what happened is that we had these people reach out to us. They wanted to work online only, but the way that they operated was that they actually undercut the prices that we asked them to sell at by 5 to 10%. And it meant that all of our existing retailers, some of them have got stores, they reached out to us and they said that they weren't happy with this new retailer that's on board, and it caused us a lot of hassle. So we just made it a blanket rule that we were going to no longer work with online only retailers for that reason.
Oh, I totally get it. Yeah, that's a horrible experience to have your brand reputation devalued by someone who doesn't see the longevity of a good partnership together. I mean, to put your mind at ease, James, that's certainly not our policy. We very much take an approach of making sure that we honor the recommended retail price. We're not here to rock any boats or upset any of your other retailers. We're looking to expand the existing market. We'll be targeting people who are maybe haven't yet come across your fantastic brand, and that we can introduce them to you. But we absolutely want to make sure that you're happy as well with the way that we're pricing products, with the service that we're delivering. We're rated 5 stars on all of our other stores that we run. So yeah, if it puts your mind at ease, just to full transparency, if at any point you found that we were discounting and doing something you didn't like, you'd have the full ability to just simply stop supplying us. So that's hopefully something that you don't have to worry about with us. We're very much looking to uphold your brand reputation, not tarnish it, because I think that damages both of our brands and it becomes a race to the bottom with no profit margin for anybody, which is not what we want.
Interesting. Yeah. Now hearing that really puts my mind at ease, knowing that you're not going to be undercutting and that you clearly value the long-term relationship that we need to be building here. And you've reduced that risk for me, because I know if I get those complaints that I've had in the past, we can just stop working together and there's no strings attached. But also you've given me the guarantee that you won't do that in the first place. So we should never reach that situation. Fantastic. So I'll send over the product details and you can start uploading the products.
Fantastic. We'll send you the first sale over the weekend. Look forward to working with you.
Amazing. Cool. Yeah, no, Lewis, I think you did an amazing job of overcoming that objection, because you clearly got on the same side as the supplier. You immediately defuse the situation where it could be butting heads, and I noticed that you wanted to feel like you're on the same side. Is that something you're consciously doing?
Yeah, I guess, but not consciously, but thinking about it, yeah, I guess you almost want to, like you say, jump over the fence, be on their side, and then point at the bad guys and be like, let them over there, they're discounting, they're doing, the thing that we don't want. We're not like them. We're like you. We want long term, which is all true. But it's just a matter of positioning, because I think sometimes people with good intentions end up not getting suppliers because they couldn't articulate the arrangement or the benefit when it mattered. So yeah, but you'll see, I think the key thing there is that none of that was scripted. None of that was like verbatim from a script. Like, they're all kind of things that I could reword and say 100 different ways, but I know the like end result that I want, and it's long-term partnership with the brand, not damaging their reputation, good customer service, trustworthy, no risk, here to stay. Like, there's all these things that, like, you just kind of got to get each of those home. And sometimes it's about figuring out which one is it that the supplier's caught up on. So like with mine, remember I said initially, we don't work with new suppliers. Okay, well, you could take that at face value and be like, oh, well, that's the policy. Well, please, can you work with new suppliers? Like, they're just not, or, please, could you work with new retailers? They're not going to break that policy. But it was just a smokescreen. The real objection was under the surface, which you uncovered by digging and finding out, actually, it was risk. It was credit limits. It was maybe insurance that they were worried about. And you then dismantled that, in the same way. So yeah, those are just 2 examples of some objections that might arise and how to handle them.
Yeah, I like it. So bringing it back to fundamentals then in the way that you answered those, because like you say, there's similarities regardless of the objection. We're always trying to bring it back to being on the same side of them. And a few principles of always try and get to the decision maker and always try and get to the single most important objection that they are having in their mind that you need to overcome. So what would you say then, to summarize, to somebody that's quite new to this, what kind of principles do they need to go into these supplier phone calls with? So no matter what the objection is, they've got something to be thinking about as they work their way through overcoming an objection.
Yes, the point that you just mentioned is key, actually, thinking about that. There's levels to that around not butting heads with the supplier. And I think it's that having a goal of a mutually beneficial outcome at the end is key, because if your goal is to win the argument, you might win the argument, but you're not going to get the supplier. So it's not about winning the argument. You have to completely like remove yourself from the almost like they say indifference to the outcome. So like if the supplier can feel that you're going to go on and succeed in business regardless of whether they get on board or not, but that you genuinely have their best interest at heart and can help them if they want to kind of be like, look, this rocket's about to take off. Do you want to get on board or not? Because we're going, like the train's leaving the station. That's a way more compelling way to position things, I think. And you can do that just by making yourself prepared ahead of time. I think preparation will create confidence because you'll know what to say. And don't rush into contacting suppliers without getting your fundamentals set up first. So set up your business properly, go through the pre-supplier checklist, steps that we go through. Make sure that you've got your professional website and domain and everything set up, your phone number. And then just make sure that you expect objections going into it, be ready and have well thought out responses that address their concerns, and practice, role play it with a family member, ask them to be a difficult supplier that has a certain concern, or even like people in our community. You can just jump on Zoom calls inside our community with each other and chat through. But my advice would be, don't worry too much about it being perfectly scripted, because if that's the case, it's going to be very difficult. Like they're going to say something and you'll be searching for one of 20 sheets on your desk that's like got that response. You just need to like feel this stuff and know it. And you will eventually, once you've practiced. Persistence with this stuff will pay off. If a supplier is saying no to you, continue contacting them, continue trying different angles. What can you do? Can you send them like a nice gift? Is there some kind of follow-up you can do to like get to the real decision maker if it's a gatekeeper you're stuck at? Or what can you do to ensure that you build that trust up and that they know, like, and trust you, and they think, yeah, do you know what, this James guy, I'm going to give him a chance, I'm going to work with him, he seems like a good guy. I've heard from him several times now. He's even driven to see me. He brought that lovely hamper of chocolate and wine, and it was really kind of him. He didn't have to do that. He's going to pay for all of the cash orders up front. Yes, we didn't have great experiences with online retailers in the past, but I feel like, if anyone's going to make it work, he sounds like the guy to do it. It's just a way more positive experience, isn't it? So yeah, if you're unsure where to begin when it comes to this stuff, head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start. And we've got a step-by-step guide there on getting started with your own high-ticket dropshipping business.
Are you enjoying the podcast? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or a review and we might feature it in an upcoming episode. And for detailed show notes and resources, visit dropshipunlocked.com/podcast.
If you found value in any episode of this podcast, please could you take just 10 seconds to leave us a quick 5-star review on your favorite podcast app? It helps us more than you can imagine. And who knows, you might just hear your comments read out on the show. Thanks for being a part of our community. Your support helps us keep delivering new episodes to you every week.
Now it's time to answer a question that we've received from a listener of the podcast. So if any questions have come up for you while you've been listening or watching today's episode, then simply comment beneath the YouTube video version of this episode, and it may get featured in an upcoming episode. So this week, the question has come in from Sork2. So that's their YouTube handle. They've asked, would you say medical devices is a good niche to enter? It's checked all the boxes for me, but I just need some confirmation to be sure that I'm going into a good niche.
Interesting question, Sork, too. And that's actually my background as well. I was in medical device sales and marketing for years before even going into e-commerce. It's a big kind of niche, right? So, I mean, when you say that, yeah, so many different medical devices, are we talking like um, blood glucose monitors, or are we talking replacement hips and knees? There's like so many different things that you could have, like medical devices across the spectrum of different uh, areas of medicine. I think the first considerations I'd suggest, because I imagine you've kind of niched down in your mind a little bit more than that, and you have like a subset that you're thinking of. Check the Shopify payments policy and the terminology on their policy to check that it doesn't go against any of their policies. Same with like Google Ads, for example. I don't know the legalities of it, but just be very careful with like Google Ads and Meta Ads. If those are going to be your main advertising networks, that you can legally advertise things that you're thinking of selling to the public. It sounds like if they're going to be quite niche, like medical devices for doctors and nurses, then are you selling them to hospitals? Are you selling them to private clinics? That's probably quite B2B. Like, there's a lot of complexity that might be introduced by going down that route. So just have a think about that. Have a look into both the ability to advertise, but also make sure you're not breaking any of the rules in terms of accepting payments. You don't want your payment gateway getting shut down later because your merchant account rules say that you can't sell medical devices on there. So there's all kinds of things like that. I mean, if it ticks the right boxes for you, and if you're happy with it and you've got strong demand and average prices are high and there's direct dropshipping competitors doing it, then you could well be on the right track for a profitable niche there. But definitely make sure that you have a look at some of those things, be cautious, and move ahead once you're happy and you've kind of validated the market in more ways than one. But the key here is going to be due diligence, making sure that you're not breaking any advertising restrictions and that you're fully going into this eyes wide open of all the potential downsides and risks before you start scaling. But good luck with it.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Good luck with it. Great response there, Lewis. I think in the niche validation criteria that we go through in the masterclass, as well as the 9 criteria to make sure that there's loads of demand, the right prices there, etc. There's also the policies that you provide so you can check out if the product that you're about to go into is going to run into any complications like that. So yeah, really good point. Something definitely to check before going into it. Okay, it's time now to highlight a recent review that we've had for the podcast. So a big thank you to Finer Print Shop for sharing your thoughts. This is a YouTube comment actually, so always good just to share these comments or reviews that we have, because we love to give you guys a shout out if you enjoy the content. So Finer Print Shop said, "Great content, guys. It is possible to make a right success of it."
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your review. And yeah, big shout out to Finer Print Shop. We're really glad to hear that you've been enjoying the podcast, and we appreciate the comment. If this episode has resonated with you in any way, if you enjoyed this one, I know it's been a bit of a different style today, but maybe consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it, or leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought. Your recommendations and your comments help us grow our community and continue delivering valuable content to you. The idea of today's episode actually came from a comment that we had recently on one of our live calls. So a quick share to a friend or a comment below this video can make a big difference to someone you know and will fuel us with content to create for our next episode. So we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast. We hope you are leaving with new insights and inspiration to fuel your entrepreneurial journey.
To kickstart your e-commerce business, head over to dropshipunlocked.com/start. It's the perfect place to start and get access to resources that will help you build your business from the ground up.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more episodes packed with strategies, tips, and success stories. Plus, if you enjoyed this episode today, a 5-star review would mean the world to us, and you might even get a shout out on the next episode.
Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today. We can't wait to bring you more insights on the next episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast.